I like the dog. It's friendly.
Hello and welcome back to my channel Box Office Poison. If you're new here, my name is Moxie McMurder and today I want to talk about All the Boys Love Mandy Lane. I love talking about and highlighting older films that deserve some extra love. But this week we're going back to horror to talk about All the Boys Love Mandy Lane. Made in 2016, but not released in America until 2013, for reasons I'll go into in a moment, All the Boys Love Mandy Lane is a film I find myself returning to again and again. Why? Well, there are two reasons really, but I can only go into one of these reasons before I hit spoilers. So let's look at reason one. All the Boys Love Mandy Lane was heavily inspired by horror films of the 70s, and films set in the 70s like The Virgin Suicides and Dazed and Confused. I love the 70s, the films, the music, the wild fashion. I am here for all of it, and one of my favourite all-time movies is The Virgin Suicides, so I think right from the get-go I was gonna like this film. Of course, films like The Texas Chainsaw Massacre and maybe even Halloween 4 and Carrie were an inspiration for director Jonathan Levine. This was his first film out of film school, which is impressive because the film looks fantastic. It's beautifully shot. That's the thing about Mandy Lane. It's an homage to 70s genre film, but it's grounded in a nondescript modern time frame, so it doesn't feel dated. The atmosphere is just right, and I love the 70s style transitions between shots, and just the whole look of the film, which is both beautiful and grim. The script was written by Jacob Foreman, and it's a tight story that upends your expectations. The plot of All the Boys Love Mandy Lane concerns a group of teens who have a party at a remote farmhouse, but they're not alone. Someone's out to get them. Standard horror setup, right? But stick with it and All the Boys Love Mandy Lane will reward you. As I mentioned earlier, the film was made in 2006, and after previewing at a few different film festivals, it received a theatrical release here in the UK in 2008. The film had mixed reviews, but there is enough buzz to get Harvey Weinstein,
who's a shit,
interested in releasing it via Dimension Films. However, a test screening with a very random audience had an over 70% negative reaction, and that gave Bob Weinstein cold feet. He didn't want to give the film a wide release, and he claimed, "I didn't feel that it was the right way to approach an artful film like this."
But that would be bullshit!
The Weinsteins decided to sell the film to a German company called Senator Entertainment, who had acquired distribution rights for the film in Germany and Austria, and had recently established a US branch. But an American release through Senator never materialised. The company's US branch went out of business in 2009, leaving the film in limbo until the spring of 2013, when the Weinstein Company bought back the distribution rights, and finally gave it a limited theatrical release. Since then, the film has acquired a little bit of a cult status, and I think that says something about the film's longevity. When a film made in 2006 and not released for 7 years still manages to find its audience, that's a bit special. In Mandy Lane, no one is exactly who they seem to be. And I don't mean that in terms of secret identities or anything like that, but rather in terms of who they present themselves to be. This group are, on the surface, your typical high school teens, but they're shown to be deeply insecure, which really rings true and adds a little bit of depth to their characters. I will admit that the ulterior motives behind this group's party is a little bit rapey. They're all obsessed with Mandy Lane and her perceived virginity, and the boys are convinced that one of them will get the chance to be her first. And the girls are in on it. I think it's safe to say that the girls are threatened by Mandy and her hold over the boys in their friendship group. The girls want the boys' attention, even if that means selling out their friend. Mandy Lane is good, gory fun, and if you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend you check this slasher out. Now let's move on to reason 2. Mandy Lane herself. Our final girl isn't just a final girl. She's been a part of the mayhem since the beginning. Mandy was the awkward girl who grew into her looks and blossomed over the summer, making her a target for hormone-fueled boys. Literally every boy or man she meets is drawn to her mysterious beauty, and you definitely get a sense of what it's like to be hit on all the time, and have people not take you seriously because you're just an object to them. She's constantly objectified, but she turns the tables and becomes the predator and not the prey. Around halfway through the film, it's revealed that Mandy's best friend Emmett is the killer. We'd been introduced to Emmett at the beginning of the film, when, at a party, a boy who's trying to get Mandy's attention jumps from the roof into his pool, but he hits his head and dies. I think it's at this point that Mandy realises just how much power she has, and with Emmett's help, they can get their revenge on these shitty high school teens who bully Emmett and objectify Mandy. Her character is really interesting to me, especially because she's seemingly the mastermind behind this bloody cull of the herd, but she doesn't actually kill anyone until the last third of the film, at the very moment that it's revealed she's been a part of Emmett's plan all along. It's a great moment, and it's chilling in the way that Mandy cradles Chloe's body and whispers in her ear that everything's okay as she pushes the knife in deeper. But as Mandy and Emmett get to the end of their plan, with everyone dead, Emmett discovers just how psychotic Mandy is when she refuses to follow their suicide pact and reveals that she intends to be the only survivor. She also knows that he only participated in this murderous pact to get her to like him. He was willing to die for her, and I think Mandy sees this as a weakness. She had a different plan all along, and Emmett was just a means to an end. There's a point in the film when the farmhand talks about how he had to kill a herd of cows that were diseased, and I think that really relates to how Mandy sees this group of teens. They're diseased, and it's her job to put them out of their misery. Whereas we see from Emmett's kills, he's driven by revenge for this bullying he's endured. He's brutal. And side note, the killing of Marlon is done in an incredibly misogynistic manner. And while I think you can maybe forgive it if you think of the film in terms of being an homage to 70s horror, it's certainly the sort of kill that you would have seen back then, especially because it fits so neatly into the trope of being punished for being sexually active. Teen girl killers were somewhat rare in 2006. They still are, and so Mandy Lane filled a gap in the horror market that people like myself were looking for. Mandy Lane is smart and dark, and while it gets brought up now and again in the dark corners of the internet, it deserves more love than it gets. Have you seen Mandy Lane? I hope so if you're at this point in the video, otherwise you've spoiled it for yourself. Why would you do that? But anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of All the Boys Love Mandy Lane. Thank you so much for watching this video. As always, if you liked it, please give the video a like and hit that subscribe button. If you really liked the video and would like to help support my channel, you can buy me a coffee. I'll leave a link to my account in the description below. It's really easy to donate, and believe me, all caffeine is greatly appreciated. Have a great day, water your plants, and stay spooky.